to Let's Talk About It, Media 21. It's being reported that Jeffrey Epstein's victims are going to release names. So we're going to talk about it. Like the video, subscribe to the page. We're going to get straight into it. These victims are not playing with people not releasing names. They're going to release names. The alleged victims knows who was there, who was involved. So they're going to release names. So we're going to get straight into the topic. Getting to my system so we can talk about what's going on. So let me go ahead and do my disclaimer. Just allow me a second. Like the video as you guys come in. Thanks for being here. This is pretty huge. We're going to briefly get into Cardi B, but for now, we're going to talk about what the victims are talking about. So allow me a few seconds to get into my system. It's going to take 3 minutes for people to come in. All pledge, period. Like the video, period. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. Thanks for being here, everyone. Thanks for subscribing. We're going to get straight into what's being talked about, what's going on. Like the video as y'all come in. We're going to get straight into what's going on. Okay.
List of names. And let me announce now, several of us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list of names. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors. No one else is involved. Stay tuned for more details on that. Because history is watching, and so are the women who will come after us. Thank you. And let me announce now, several of us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list of names. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors. No one else is involved. Stay tuned for more details on that. Because history is watching, and so are the women who will come after us. Thank you.
Okay, so let's go with the news of what's being talked about.
One of the lawyers for the victims saying there was a point at which Donald Trump was not just verbally supportive, but he was actually trying to help them years ago with this. And they're trying to figure out how he made the turn. And by the turn, almost simultaneously, within minutes, you heard Donald Trump in the Oval Office being asked about this. Listen to what he says now.
So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends. You know, it reminds me a little of the Kennedy situation. We gave him everything over and over again, more and more and more, and nobody's ever satisfied. And from what I understand, I could check, but from what I understand, thousands of pages of documents have been given. But it's really a Democrat hoax because they're trying to get something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation since I've been president.
Well, that would be the first Democrat hoax that Marjorie Taylor Greene spoke passionately in support of. What do you see is going on here?
Well, we first have to remember again, Epstein was Donald Trump's friend for a very long time. He also reportedly
But then he separated himself from him and has recently.
But also he's reportedly in these files. We don't know what it looks like, but he reportedly is in these files according to the people who work for him. The first thing.
Nobody has suggested he did anything wrong.
We
I
don't
hate
know.
to say that. Nobody has suggested
That's
that.
true, but I mean, I would just release them just to show that I've done nothing wrong. And again, he ran on this during the campaign. Let's not forget
Absolutely.
that he promised to release these files. He also brought into the Justice Department conspiracy podcast people who have been talking about this for years. And so the idea that you can just heel turn and try to change the conversation because you don't want to release the files is problematic politically. Here's the other thing. The midterms are more than a year away. It would actually be politically smarter for him to release them now.
Don't drag it out.
Exactly. Why drag it out as we get closer to the midterms? That doesn't make any sense. I'm not saying he did anything wrong, but he was friends with the guy and there was a relationship and he allegedly is somewhere in the files. We don't know what that looks like, but that is a factor in this conversation.
So, Sam, I want to play part of what we heard from a number of folks today. They say this isn't really about President Trump. It's about something much larger. The system for the rich and the powerful that protected Jeffrey Epstein. Take a listen to that.
Epstein was not just a serial predator, he was an international human trafficker. And many around him knew, many participated, and many profited. And yet, he was protected.
This is about ensuring that the future we leave behind isn't one where the powerful can hide behind their wealth, their influence, and their money to evade justice.
Our government could have saved so many women, but Jeffrey Epstein was too important, and those women didn't matter.
Do you think this gets us, Sam, any closer to answers here? And is it important to know the other names, whether they come through a release of documents or a decision is made by those survivors who say, you know what, we're not waiting anymore, we're going to put together our own list?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as just sort of a strictly moral issue, of course.
Imagine that word in the middle of where we are right now. I know it sounds like it's something out of The Onion, but it's true. The case that they were making was that this is a moral issue. Why would you not stand with girls who have been sexually abused repeatedly by a person in power?
Right, and I think that's what's so confounding about what's happening politically here, not morally, but politically, because, everyone at some point in time has said, yes, you need to have disclosure of the names, the files, we need to at least understand what was happening and who was connected to this monster. And yet now we've had what amounts to 180, essentially, from the very people who are arguing that and who are now in power. I mean, that's the crux of the issue for Trump, right? It's that he and his accolades and the FBI director, the deputy FBI director, the attorney general, you can go on and on, the vice president, all said, as a matter of morality, that this was not only a must-do, this disclosure, but that they should do it upon taking office. And now we're 7 months in, and suddenly they've become committed to, dripping out files that have already been released, hiding other stuff, saying there's actually no files, then saying there might be files. And so it's the 180. It's the flip-flop on this matter of morality that is so politically problematic for the Trump administration.
So there's the politics of it. Kristen, let me go back to something that you first touched on, and we've talked a little bit about, and that's the possibility of this Epstein client list. And Epstein survivor Lisa Phillips says this is not the end of the story. Listen.
Several of us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list of names. Yes. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now, together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors.
Virtually every survivor that we've ever heard from talks about something that I'm sure, Kristen, you're very familiar with, which is the fear, terror of coming forward, the emotional roller coaster that they have been on, not for years, but for decades. Talk about the potential for power in numbers, that for many of them, for the first time, they're talking to other people who understand in a way no one else can exactly what they went through. And does that give them political and legal power, potentially?
So it gives them political and legal power, but most importantly, it gives them that voice back. It helps them regain their autonomy. Sexual abuse is one of those crimes, particularly when these young ladies were being victimized, was a crime that people looked at and said, this would never happen in my house. This would never happen in my family. That person must have wore something, went somewhere, did something wrong. And as a result, they were sexually abused. We don't have that type of stigma in other crimes. If someone gets robbed, they don't say, oh, what were you wearing? Or anything like that. And so when you see the strength, when she actually said that about the client list, I was listening, it actually gave me goosebumps. Why did it give me goosebumps? Knowing that I've represented survivors for over a decade? Well, because at that moment when she stated that they were going to make that client list, you heard the rally of cheers. And that, to me, was the type of justice that survivors seek and want. It's where they are reclaiming their power. You know what, government? did to us, we are then going to force it out of you. And that allows them to regain their power. Are there political avenues? Are there legal avenues? Sure. That in and of itself could, again, open up a prosecution. It could open up an investigation at a minimum. It could cause more support for this transparency bill. So yes, it could do all of those things. And I think at its core, one of the things that is super important here is that in addition, this is not just about names. This transparency bill could give us access to a lot of information that, as you mentioned, Chris, at the onset, is this something where billionaires, millionaires, rich and powerful people were able to get away with something so heinous and horrible? We need to know that as a society. We need to know the flight logs, the travel records, the passenger manifest. We need to know who was there. We need to know who else was given plea bargains, non-prosecution agreements, immunity deals, and maybe they shouldn't have. Those are things that the American people deserve to know. It is not a political issue. That's why there was obviously bipartisan support. This is not about trying to protect people, and it shouldn't be about, I should actually say, it shouldn't be about trying to protect people, because these were heinous crimes committed against children. This was an international trafficker. And you know what, quite frankly, as Marjorie Taylor Greene said beautifully, he was not alone. There were drivers, there were maids, there were security detail. There were all of these individuals that enabled and facilitated his crimes. And there were also his friends and comrades who were also able to sexually abuse these children, because between him and Maxwell, they and other agencies, as you heard from the press conference, were able to feed these young, vulnerable women to them.
We are literally so out of time, Kristen, but I have to ask you this real quick. Is the statute of limitations over for some of these cases? I mean, the kind of stuff you're talking about, could charges still be brought?
Some charges could be brought, and the statute of limitations should not be gone for every single person. The statute of limitations does differ per state, and so wherever the sexual abuse happened, that will really dictate where and when they are able to bring a lawsuit. But I can only imagine, given the amount of survivors that Epstein has affected, I can only think that there should be some civil justice and criminal justice for some of these survivors.
And the biggest thing is it's sick that some people, this happened for so many years. It's sickening that it did happen for so many years. And I don't know if some of these children was from foster homes. I don't know where the parents were. I don't know if it was like they thought that they were into modeling. Let's just focus on the victim speaking out. Let's continue fair use reaction.
On a nearby island. Who I saw and what I experienced there. Hi there.
There's a press conference. Let's listen in.
An award-nominated podcast called From Now On, a platform supporting survivors. I want to thank all of my survivor sisters who came before me today. I'll be very short. In the year 2000, I was taken to Jeffrey Epstein's island while on a photo shoot on a nearby island. Who I saw and experienced there was a glimpse into a very dark and disturbing world. For years after, I tried to avoid Jeffrey, but he had introduced me to Katie Ford, the owner of the Ford modeling agency. Epstein's reach went to the very top of fashion, arts, and entertainment.
See, I told you, modeling agency helped the sickness. Told y'all, let's continue fair use reaction clip.
This did not just happen to underage girls in Florida. In New York City, hundreds of young, ambitious women were abused by him. Epstein was not just a serial predator, he was an international human trafficker. And many around him knew, many participated, and many profited. And yet, he was protected. So I stand here today for every woman who has been silenced, exploited, and dismissed. We are not asking for pity. We are here demanding accountability, and I'm demanding justice. Congress must choose. Will you continue to protect predators, or will you finally protect survivors? And also, I would like to announce here today, us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now, together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know, who were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors. No one else is involved. Stay tuned for more details.
Hello, my name is Shantae Davies, and I'm here before you today as a survivor of decades of pain, trauma, and betrayal at the hands of Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, and the people who enabled them, and a government that for far too long refused to help. In 2002, I was living in California, a young woman with high aspirations of becoming an actress. I was already beginning to make a name for myself in the industry. A person I trusted, someone I thought was a friend, invited me to meet a powerful woman who could help advance my career. That woman happened to be Ghislaine Maxwell. I was asked to give her a massage, though I had almost no experience, and when I did, she praised me and promised introductions to someone enormously powerful, someone who could change the course of my life, and that man was Jeffrey Epstein. At first, I was an excited young woman on top of the world. Epstein flew me to his private island. He listened to my dreams, promised to help, but his promises came with a catch. The abuse began. He told me to keep it secret. He manipulated me with quid pro quo I did not consent to, but I felt I had no one to turn to. He was too powerful. I was just one of the many young women trapped in his orbit. I was even taken on a trip to Africa with former President Bill Clinton and other notable figures. In those moments, I realized how powerless I was. If I spoke out, who would believe me?
Allegedly.
Epstein himself.
Allegedly. I can't confirm or deny. Everybody will have to check flight logs, though. That's going to be their proof. Let's continue. Fair use. Any name she gives, it's allegedly.
Was the most powerful leader of our country. Epstein surrounded himself, with the most powerful leaders of our country and the world. He abused not only me, but countless others, and everyone seemed to look away. The truth is, Epstein had a free pass. He bragged about his powerful friends, including our current president, Donald Trump. It was his biggest brag, actually. And while what I endured will haunt me forever, I live every day with PTSD. I live as a mother trying to raise my child while distrusting a world that has betrayed me. This kind of trauma never leaves you. It breaks families apart. It shapes the way we see everyone around us. But one thing is certain, unless we learn from this history, monsters like Epstein will rise again. There are files, government files, that hold the truth about Epstein, who he knew, who owed him, who protected him, and why he was allowed to operate for so long without consequence. Why was Maxwell the only one held accountable when so many others played a role?
Facts.
Why does the government hide this information from the public?
Good afternoon.
This secrecy is not protection, it's complicity. And as long as the truth is buried, justice will remain out of reach. That is why this bill matters.
I have my page and I have to say allegedly until this goes to court. Let's continue. Fair use. Reaction clip.
Passing it will, bless you, ensure that the suffering of survivors is not in vain. Passing it will bring accountability, transparency, and prevention. It will help protect the next generation of predators who seek to place themselves above the law through wealth, influence, and connections. This is not just my story. It is about every survivor who carries invisible scars. It's about the weight we live with daily. It is about the families broken and the futures stolen. So I ask you, President Trump, and members of Congress, why do we continue to cover up sexual abuse and assault? Who are we covering for? Let the public know the truth. We cannot heal without justice. We cannot protect the future if we refuse to confront the past. Thank you.
Let's just give a round of applause for all the courage and strength of the survivors of the. We now will take a few questions. You can always get Congressman Massey, me, or Congressman Green in the hallways and other places. If you have questions for us, that's fine. But I wanted to see first if you have questions for the lawyers and the survivors, and Brad will facilitate any of the questions to the survivors. Yes?
Yeah. This question would be for the survivors. The president has said that this Epstein issue is a hoax, is the word that he used. Can we get your reactions to what when you hear him say that?
Hello. Thanks for being here.
Mr. President Donald J. Trump, I am a registered Republican, not that that matters because this is not political. However, I cordially invite you to the Capitol to meet me in person so you can understand this is not a hoax. We are real human beings. This is real trauma.
What does it feel like emotionally?
Devastating. It's being gutted from the inside out. Not that I would know what that feels like, but I imagine it's the anxiety buildup with the depression and the survival mode, and then your nervous system goes limp. And
hello, Anonymous. How are you? Thanks for being here. He shouldn't have been the only one that stood trial. First off, he shouldn't have been sitting there by himself. Of course, him and Maxwell went to jail, but there should have been more. That's the problem. And everybody's speaking up and the victims are speaking out. So I get why they're doing it. And thank goodness they have lawyers and they're going to look into what they need to look into. Thank goodness they're speaking up and speaking out. Let's continue. Fair use, reaction clip.
Ironically, a shot. And it feels like you just want to explode inside because nobody, again, is understanding that this is a real situation. These women are real. We're here in person. To say that it's a hoax is just not. Please humanize us. I would like Donald J. Trump in every.
Thanks for that information. I'm wondering why they're trying to block it, to protect their brands. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Person in America and around the world to humanize us, to see us for who we are, and to hear us for what we have to say. There is no hoax. The abuse was real. Now, what goes on behind closed doors, I can't speak for that. What happens around the world politically, I cannot speak for that. But I am here with all of these women, including our attorneys, and I would be more than happy to meet with him, and I will meet him halfway.
Many of the victims could respond to the news from recently about Ghislaine Maxwell being transferred to a lower security prison in the aftermath of being talk about. You want that one?
About her transfer. Oh, yeah. I'm happy to speak to that. We were horrified to learn that she had been transferred to a prison camp. She is someone who was found guilty by a jury of sex trafficking. She not only, we often hear that she procured women for Jeffrey, which I think is a very sort of and minimizing term. She also participated in abuse. She was a major architect of the scheme. And the fact that she's painted herself as a victim, I think is disgusting. And it was horrifying, I think, to us that we were not told about her prison transfer. We found out about it in the news.
Guys, with
like the video, like the video.
There are a lot of people.
I would imagine the attorneys have safety precautions for them. I would imagine the attorneys have safety precautions for them since they are going to be speaking up and speaking out. This should have happened around the time his trial happened. Why did it take so long? Everything's so delayed and such a distraction. Like the video, like the video.
Told about her prison transfer. We found out about it in the news. 1 minute, I think Anushka maybe.
So, Anushka DiGiorgio, I testified alongside Annie at the trial of Ghislaine Maxwell. I was horrified when I found out not only had Ghislaine Maxwell been transferred to what's called a low security. It really is like a holiday camp, and then afterwards I got a notification from the Department of Justice telling me that this was going to happen when it had already happened. This woman abused children. I was abused by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell for over 10 years. Ghislaine Maxwell was present for some of my abuse at the hand of Jeffrey Epstein. She was present, she was complicit, she was enabling, and it is appalling and disgusting. And it's one of my worst nightmares that she not only be transferred, but at the possibility that's very much going around that she might be pardoned. This is not okay, guys. This is not okay.
And I just want to add that I think it sends a very dangerous message to our country, to the young people in our country, that someone that we all know is aware of these crimes could be given a pass.
And just for the last one, the last survivor who just spoke, she said that Epstein would brag about her relationship with Donald Trump. Could you please elaborate about that?
Shut it. To the microphone. Yeah, I did say that.
Planes flying over. Hold on. Like the video, like the video.
My first trip to the Palm Beach residence, I drove there from the airport with Ghislaine Maxwell, and Jeffrey and Ghislaine were always very boastful about their friends, their famous or powerful friends, and his biggest brag forever was that he was very good friends with Donald Trump. He had an 8x10 framed picture of him on his desk with the two of them. Like, they were very close.
Go ahead. One second.
His line was that these ladies are putting together, so to be confidential, but will the public, to clarify, will the public get this out the list?
So, Lisa, what's your envision here?
So we're reaching out to survivors that are scared.
So come on.
We're reaching out to survivors that are scared to come forward and that also know who they were trafficked to. So that's the list that we're compiling. We're not quite sure, how we're going to release that, or even if we're going to. The Department of Justice needs to release the list.
Right. Yeah. For folks at home, they might be confused. Survivors know the names. We've seen these powerful people. Why can't you say the names? Could you just explain?
Why do we have to say the names when the government knows the names? And we're also scared to do so. Look what's happened to so many of the survivors that have revealed names.
I think it's also worth saying that having represented, between our firm and Boyce Schiller, hundreds of victims, and we've talked to them about the various people that they were farmed out to. So we've created somewhat of a list. Most of these individuals, the victims, are very scared to say these names because they could get sued, they're going to get attacked, and nobody protected them the first time. And that was against one person. So is there a list? There is a list. But just to dispel kind of the common theme here, every one of these women was abused by Jeffrey Epstein, and his scheme was to personally abuse women. When they reached a certain age, he did farm a section of them out to some of his friends. That doesn't mean all of his friends. With that said, I'm more than happy to assist in helping create the list behind the scenes and see what we do with it.
But if someone's interested, hold on. I think if someone's interested in prosecuting, they may have something different to say about sharing a list, but they're not sharing a list for nothing to happen, and that's the experience that they've had for all of these years.
So you better believe some of these famous people are going to be scared. I don't know the list. I haven't seen no list, but people are going to have proof of these women being at these agencies. There's also going to be proof of these women being possibly on the flight logs. So that's going to be a concern. Like the video, fair use reaction clip. Like the video as you guys come in. I don't know no names. I don't know nothing. I don't know what's going on. I'm just telling y'all. But allegedly, the government has a list. Some of the files have been denied and they won't release everything. But if these women have attorneys, they have attorneys. And I would imagine the attorneys are going to do the best they can to protect these women because they know who these famous people are. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
It is rotten in Washington. Less than 1% of these files have been released. We are demanding today on the discharge petition that all of the files be released. We know we have 212 Democrats and we have 4 Republicans, courageous Republicans like Thomas Massie, Nancy Mace.
Yes, protect the victims for sure. All this information should have came out when he went to jail. Real talk. He shouldn't have been the only one sitting there. Real talk. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
It was so emotional yesterday after talking to the survivors, Congresswoman Boebert and Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor.
And I will say, to protect my page, I don't know if Donald Trump has done any wrongdoing. Maxwell allegedly said he's done no wrongdoing. He's been a gentleman. On my page, I got to protect my page because no one has ever said he's done any wrongdoing. Maxwell even said he's done no wrongdoing, but a lot of people call her a liar. So I don't know who these people are. I don't know the men. I don't know the famous people. I don't know if, even if they are on the flight logs, I don't know if they did any wrongdoing. So let's protect the page. If these things go to court, we will see how the judge handles it. Let's go from there.
We need just 2 more signatures to force the release. So we gather here on the steps of the Capitol to confront these corrupt forces. Today we stand with survivors. We stand against big money. We stand to protect America's children. That is really what this is about. I now want to bring up my Republican colleague, Thomas Massie. He has shown so much courage, so much leadership. And I saw some people, I say the same thing about Marjorie Taylor Greene. She has shown so much courage on this issue. I saw some people when I was coming here calling her names. We've got to stop that. We've got to stop the partisanship on this issue. This is an issue where they both have shown real courage and leadership, and I appreciate them joining us today. Congressman Massie.
I want to thank my colleague Ro Khanna for co-leading this effort to bring transparency and justice for these victims. I hope my colleagues are watching this press conference. I want them to think, what if this was your sister? What if this was your daughter? When these survivors speak, the Washington establishment is asking the American public to believe something that is not believable. They're asking you to believe that 2 individuals created hundreds of victims and they acted alone, and that the DOJ has no idea of who else might have been involved, that nobody else did anything that rose to a criminal enterprise. The American people know that's not true. Now, the Speaker of the House just offered a fig leaf to my colleagues. They're going to vote on a non-binding resolution today that does absolutely nothing. I appreciate the efforts of my colleague, James Comer, who's leading the committee. They may find some information, but they're allowing the DOJ to curate all of the information that the DOJ is giving them. If you've looked at the pages they've released so far, they're heavily redacted. Some pages are entirely redacted. And 97% of this is already in the public domain. So I'm calling on my colleagues, be one of the next 2 who sponsors this discharge petition. I think it's shameful that this has been called a hoax. Hopefully today we can clear that up. This is not a hoax. This is real. There are real survivors. There are real victims to this criminal enterprise. And the perpetrators are being protected because they're rich and powerful and political donors to the establishment here in Washington, D.C. So today we're standing with these survivors. We're giving them a voice. And I want to close by thanking them. They are brave. I hope they encourage other survivors to come forward and to tell their stories, not just of Jeffrey Epstein and Maxwell, but anywhere in the country. This is a message that we are sending. This is a litmus test. Can we drain the swamp? Are there people who are outside of the reach of the law? I don't think there should be. So hopefully today we'll get 2 more signatures on the discharge petition. That's all we need. And with that, I want to introduce the bravest woman in Congress, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I find it interesting that the 3 Republican co-sponsors are women. These are women standing up for women. And Marjorie was the first to do it. And I think she deserves all of our gratitude for breaking that barrier and leading the way for the other Republicans. Hopefully they can find their spines as well. And with that, I give you Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Good morning. This is my 5th year in Congress, and this is the largest press conference that I've seen since I've been here. And this is because this is an issue that matters so much to Americans. This is an issue that doesn't have political boundaries. It's an issue that Republicans and Democrats should never fight about. As a matter of fact, it's such an important issue that it should bring us all together. It's grieved me to watch the arguments and debates take place among my colleagues and even the administration. I think this is something that's worth fighting for. You see, the women behind me are going to tell you stories that you've never heard before. These are unimaginable horrors that they've lived with for their entire lives since they were very, very young. But these are also similar stories that many children, teenagers, women, and even men are enduring nightmares right now as we speak. You see, these women have been fighting since the 1990s. I heard one woman tell us yesterday since 1996. And they have carried with them shame. But I want to tell you something. The shame does not fall on these brave, courageous women. The shame falls on every single person that coldly turned a blind eye to their abuse. The shame falls on every single person that enabled it. The shame falls on every single person that took money to continue it. And the shame falls on the people in power over the past several decades that protected the monster, Jeffrey Epstein, and his cabal that continued a nightmare. Those people deserve the shame. And today we are coming forward and we are going to fight like hell for these women, because we have to fight like hell for those that are enduring sexual abuse and are living in a prison of shame. Anyone that is being abused, it is not your fault. You should live with no guilt or fear or shame. All of the fault belongs to the evil people that do these things to the innocent. This is the most important fight we can wage here in Congress, is fighting for innocent people that never received justice. And the women behind me have never received justice. And do you want to know why? It's because Jeffrey Epstein somehow was able to walk among the most rich, powerful people, not only in America, but for countries. Yesterday, I heard countries like Saudi Arabia, Russia, and even Israel, and other countries. The truth needs to come out, and the government holds the truth. The cases that are sealed hold the truth. Jeffrey Epstein's estate holds the truth. The FBI, the DOJ, and the CIA holds the truth. And the truth we are demanding come out on behalf of these women, but also as a strong message to every innocent child, teenager, woman, and man that is being held captive in abuse. This should never happen in America, and it should never be a political issue that divides us. And I want to thank Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie for doing something brave, crossing political boundaries for a very important fight. And I'm honored to join both of them. And I'm honored that Nancy Mace and Lauren Boebert signed the discharge petition along with myself. And I asked my Republican colleagues not to choose just one path for justice and transparency and accountability, but I asked my Republican colleagues to choose every path for justice and accountability and transparency. And with that, I'd like to bring back Congressman Ro Khanna to start this important press conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, you guys. There's about 139 in the building. Please hit the subscribe button. We're going to continue this conversation. Please hit the subscribe button. Thanks for being here, everyone. This is their opinions. They have lawyers. They're going to proceed with names. Let's see what happens. I don't know the names. I don't know these people. I'm just saying these victims are allegedly moving forward with names. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
For your courage and for being here, and thank you again to Congressman Massey for co-leading it. I now would like to introduce two people who have been fighting this for decades. They haven't had their voice heard. The victims haven't been heard. They haven't just been on this in the last few months. They've been doing this in the wilderness for years, and they are really models of courage. Bradley Edwards and Brittany Henderson, who are the attorneys for the victims. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Ro and Thomas Massey. I really appreciate you putting forth this discharge petition. It's tough to understand that we have to be here because this doesn't seem like a partisan issue. This is an issue. Sex trafficking and sexual abuse transcends politics. We as Americans expect equal protection under the law, and there can be no doubt that Jeffrey Epstein received far greater protection than any of the victims that he abused for years. In 2008, Courtney Wild walked into my office because she was a part of a federal investigation into Jeffrey Epstein, where all she wanted was the government to talk to her. Little did she know the government had worked out a secret immunity deal for Jeffrey Epstein, and we had to file Jane Doe's versus United States of America to prove that Jeffrey Epstein worked out an illegal non-prosecution agreement with the government. That was 2008. It took us 10 years battling the government pro bono for the judge to ultimately determine that the victims' rights were violated. The government has mistreated them after Jeffrey Epstein mistreated them. We then filed civil lawsuits against Ghislaine Maxwell, which has resulted in her being in prison. Our civil lawsuits led to her prosecution. We filed lawsuits against Jeffrey Epstein, against his estate, and against two financial institutions, JP Morgan and Deutsche Bank, that proved that they knowingly provided the financial infrastructure for a sex trafficking operation. Unfortunately, all of the documents and evidence that we have worked so hard to gather hide behind protective orders, confidentiality agreements, and bank secrecy laws. That is why this discharge petition is so important. While we have seen the documents, you haven't. And when you see the documents, you're going to be appalled. And the American people deserve to see everything. When you sign this discharge petition, it should mean nothing is off limits. That means the documents in the possession of the CIA should be made available. Those in possession of the FBI going back decades should be made available. SEC, financial records in the possession of FinCEN should be made available. Everybody knows that evil flourishes in the darkness. Corruption flourishes in secrecy. It is time right now to make a difference for the women that are behind me right now. They have been courageous and fought through this whole thing. Whether you're a Republican or you're a Democrat, this one is an easy call. You're an American who cares about equal rights and equal protection under the law. About these women, if you care about our country and you care about this issue, this should pass with flying colors. I really appreciate everybody being here.
Luxury vinyl flooring has never
like
been
the
more
video, like the video.
floor.
Fair use. Don't forget to hit the subscribe. There's about 97 in the building. Please hit the subscribe. Let's continue. Fair use, reaction clip.
This issue, this should pass with flying colors. I really appreciate everybody being here.
Hi, good morning. My name is Brittany Henderson, and I think in addition to thanking the wonderful congressmen and women who are here today, we need to thank the women, and not just the women who are going to speak, but the other women who are standing behind them, along with other lawyers, Sigrid McCauley, and people who have been fighting for a very, very long time for the world to give this kind of attention to an issue that it should have had forever. This administration has the opportunity to do what the past administrations did not do. This administration can either stand with the victims and stand for the victims, or it can continue to hurt the victims, like has happened in the past. We aren't here just to ask for transparency, though. We're here, too, to ask for protection. The women here represent hundreds of other women who we have spoken to, many of whom were trafficked from other countries, from Eastern European countries where women don't have the rights that we have here. Women don't have the protections that we have here. And those women are terrified that their names will be released in these files. The government won't know that they're victims to redact and protect them. So we ask that you please, whoever is going to be in charge of redacting these files and in charge of this transparency, do it in a way that protects the women brave enough to be here, but also protects the women who are terrified that every day when they turn the TV on, something bad is going to happen to them in Ukraine, in Russia, in whatever country they live in, because no one is listening to them there. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And please protect these women while we seek transparency.
Good morning. My name is Anushka DiGiorgio, and I stand before you today as a survivor of both Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. I want to thank Congressman Massey and Kana for their role in putting together this very, very important bill. Every day of this journey toward healing has come at a profound cost to my mental health. But I am here. I chose to come because this bill really matters. I speak today not only in service of my own recovery from trauma inflicted by Maxwell and Epstein, but to honor the lives, the courage and sacrifices of Virginia Giuffre, Caroline Adriano, and others who could not continue. Their voices mattered. Their stories must not be forgotten. Accountability is what makes a society civilized. equal opportunity and equal consequence for all. Consequences are not about punishment alone. They exist to deter future harm, to protect vulnerable, and to set a standard of justice. If Ghislaine Maxwell were pardoned, it would undermine all the sacrifices I made to testify and make mockery of mine and all survivors' suffering. That is why the Epstein Files Transparency Act is so essential. It requires the Department of Justice release all the records related to Epstein and Maxwell investigations, flight logs, immunity deals, internal communications, and even the records surrounding Epstein's detention and death. And crucially, it forbids withholding documents simply because of embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity. This is about ending secrecy wherever abuse of power takes root. But transparency alone is not enough. Survivors need protection, resources, and legal support. If this Congress is serious about justice, then let this moment also affirm your commitment to provide victims with the legal aid they need to confront abusers, to navigate complex systems, and to reclaim. Transparency must be matched by support, or else too many victims will remain silent out of fear and lack of access. The statistics demand action. Nearly 1 in 5 women in America will experience rape or attempted rape in her lifetime. Every 74 seconds, someone is sexually assaulted. Every 9 minutes, that person is a child. These are not numbers. They are people. They are your daughters, your sons, your constituents, your friends. Statistically, 1 in 5 of your families will face this nightmare. The days of sweeping this under the rug are over. We, the survivors, say no more. I want to help create a world where survivors of sexual abuse and abuse of power can come forward safely. And I ask Congress to join me in that effort, not only by passing this bill, but by ensuring that those who step forward have legal support to face their abusers and see justice done. When Judge Berman gave Epstein survivors the chance to finally speak, the world listened. After so many years, survivors were heard. That moment was historic. And so is this moment. For me, the turning point was when I had my daughter. And on the day she was born, I knew I had a responsibility to protect her and to protect all children. I have to use my voice, the voice that had been silenced by fear and shame for so many years. Make no mistake, my polished exterior is a shield hiding a wound that still bleeds. But through this wound, I have found purpose. To be part of lasting change in how we confront exploitation and abuse. And to be clear, the only motive for opposing this bill would be to conceal wrongdoing. You have a choice. Stand with the truth, or with the lies that have protected predators for decades. I am no longer weak. I am no longer powerless. And I'm no longer alone. And with your vote, neither will the next generation be. President Trump, you have so much influence and power in this situation. Please use that influence and power to help us. Because we need it now, and this country needs it now. Thank you.
Of course they're there with a bullhorn. Of course they're there with a bullhorn telling people to move. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Like the video. Like the video. Please subscribe. Let's continue. Fair use. Reaction clip. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hello. My name is Annie Farmer, and I was 16 years old when I was flown to New Mexico to spend a weekend with Epstein and Maxwell. That same year, 1996, my sister, Maria Farmer, reported what happened to me there, along with reporting her own assault at their hands and their theft of sensitive photos of herself, of me, and our younger sister that she had taken for her work as a figurative painter. I am now 46 years old. 30 years later, we still do not know why that report wasn't properly investigated, or why Epstein and his associates were allowed to harm hundreds, if not thousands, of other girls and young women. We have never been told whether those images were found when they discovered a large amount of child sexual abuse material on his property. As a psychologist, I understand that when the systems meant to protect us recreate the abuse cycle, the betrayal that occurs can be just as damaging as the original trauma. This happens when survivors of these crimes are not believed, when our well-being is not weighed as heavily as those who have more resources or more privilege, and when perpetrators of these crimes are given a platform rather than the survivors of them. For so many years, it felt like Epstein's criminal behavior was an open secret. Not only did many others participate in the abuse, it is clear that many were aware of his interest in girls and very young women and chose to look the other way because it benefited them to do so. They wanted access to his circle and his money. Their choice to align with his power, those of us who had been harmed by this man and his associates feeling very isolated. I could never have imagined being here today and this chorus of support that we have all received. I have been sent so many notes and messages from people with no direct connection to this case who have expressed their solidarity with us. And I believe that is because, in part, as Anushka explained so well, this is an extremely widespread issue of child sexual abuse, exploitation, of sexual violence. This affects almost every family in some way. From my conversations with women in these last few days and from all of the support that we've received, it's very clear to me that we are not going away, we are not going to be quiet, and we are not going to give up. And I ask the American public to stand with us and not give up. At a time with record high levels of distrust in our institutions and a perception that there are two Americas, one for those with power and privilege and one for everyone else, passing this Epstein transparency bill is one important step that can be taken to prove to Americans that the government does not side with sexual perpetrators. A thorough public review of this information is an important step in preventing the type of systemic failures that have occurred in this case and harmed all of us. An important step towards healing for those involved.
Like the video, like the video. If anything, I'm wondering if a lot of them felt that they were delaying it. Remember how they said they had the files? And they were delaying it. Now they're saying, what files? What y'all talking about? So, of course, that's going to make people even more frustrated because you said you were going to release information. And then for her to get transferred, people were like, well, why should she receive favoritism in being transferred? Of course, that's going to make a lot of people upset. Like the videos, y'all come in, more content. I don't know who these people are. I don't know these models. I don't know the victims. I'm wondering what's going to happen. And hopefully these lawyers have these women protected.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. You're recognized.
Like the video. Hold on, they're going to speak in a minute. Maybe, wait a minute. I think his mic is too low. Hold on one second. Fair use reaction clip. Like the video as y'all come in. Like the video as y'all come in.
The year is not yet over. That success is a testament in part to the ingenuity, the drive, and the determination of everybody in this room who are making Waco and this entire region a tremendous economic success. Give it up for yourselves and your fellow members for everything you're doing. And I think we all know that success like that doesn't just happen overnight. It's an aggregation of what's happened over years. And you can see that in a way because of an anniversary that you all celebrated. This has been in the works for tireless years of effort for now 125 years. Because last year, the Waco Chamber of Commerce celebrated its 125th anniversary. Congratulations on 125 years of tremendous success of transforming the entire Waco region. This region is increasingly a key part of the Texas economic juggernaut. Texas ranks #1 in the United States of America for the most new jobs added. Texas ranks #1 as ranked by CEOs who run businesses as the best state for doing business for 21 years in a row. Texas ranks #1 for economic development projects. This is defined in a way that it leads to what's called the Governor's Cup. The Governor's Cup goes to the state that ranks #1 for those economic development projects. And not only is Texas the national champion in that, Texas has been the national champion for economic development for 13 years in a row. And you all are part of that. Those economic development projects I spoke of earlier, those are all tallied and aggregated in Waco and Austin, Houston, and Midland, and all towns across the entire state to see which state comes out on top. And one reason why Texas has ranked #1 for those 13 years in a row is because we have the best local level economic development teams of any state in the United States of America, and you are a driving part of that. So thank you for what you've done to lead Texas.
Like the video, like the video. I hit the button by accident. Sorry, hold on. Like the video, like the video. What did I do? Hold on.
to Florida Live. I'm Garrett Weimer, and thanks for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon, live on Fox Local and on YouTube. We've been dealing with a little bit of a power outage here, but I think we are back in business, and so we appreciate you joining us this afternoon here from the Fox 35 Orlando studios. We begin today with a big national story as we heard from a number of survivors of abuse of Jeffrey Epstein speaking today outside the U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C. We heard from a number of them, as well as a bipartisan group of lawmakers pushing for the full and unredacted release of the Epstein files. This is something that they want to see. This was a Democratic lawmaker from California, as well as Marjorie Taylor Greene, a Republican from Georgia, Thomas Massey, a Republican from Kentucky as well. They were joined by a large contingent of these Epstein survivors who had very emotional testimony today, sharing their stories during this news conference. One survivor speaking about being lured to Epstein's island, many of them talking about the impact this had not just on young girls and teenagers in South Florida, but across the country as well, and how they kind of fell into that orbit. I want to play for you a little bit of that news conference that happened earlier today on Capitol Hill.
Every day of this journey toward healing has come at a profound cost to my mental health. But I am here. I chose to come because this bill really matters. I speak today not only in service of my own recovery from trauma inflicted by Maxwell and Epstein, but to honor the lives, the courage, and sacrifices of Virginia Giuffre, Caroline Adriano, and others who could not continue. Their voices mattered. Their stories must not be forgotten. Accountability is what makes a society civilized. Equal opportunity and equal consequence for all. Consequences are not about punishment alone. They exist to deter future harm, to protect vulnerable, and to set a standard of justice. If Ghislaine Maxwell were pardoned, it would undermine all the sacrifices I made to testify and make mockery of mine and all survivors' suffering.
Like the video, fair use, reaction clip. Like the video as you guys come in. Don't forget to hit subscribe.
That is why the Epstein Files Transparency Act is so essential. It requires the Department of Justice release all the records related to Epstein and Maxwell investigations, flight logs, immunity deals, internal communications, and even the records surrounding Epstein's detention and death. And crucially, it forbids withholding documents simply because of embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity. This is about ending secrecy wherever abuse of power takes root. But transparency alone is not enough. Survivors need protection, resources, and legal support. If this Congress is serious about justice, then let this moment also affirm your commitment to provide victims with the legal aid they need to confront abusers, to navigate complex systems in their power. Transparency must be matched by support, or else too many victims will remain silent out of fear and lack of access. The statistics demand action. Nearly 1 in 5 women in America will experience rape or attempted rape in her lifetime. Every 74 seconds, someone is sexually assaulted. Every 9 minutes, that person is a child. These are not numbers. They are your daughters, your sons, your constituents, your friends. Statistically, 1 in 5 of your families will face this nightmare. The days of sweeping this under the rug are over. We, the survivors, say no more. In the year 2000, I was taken to Jeffrey Epstein's island while on a photo shoot on a nearby island. Who I saw and what I experienced there was a glimpse into a very dark and disturbing world. For years after, I tried to avoid Jeffrey, but he had introduced me to Katie Ford, the owner of the Ford Modeling Agency. Epstein's reach went to the very top of fashion, arts, and entertainment. This did not just happen to underage girls in Florida. In New York City, hundreds of young, ambitious women were abused by him. Epstein was not just a serial predator, he was an international human trafficker. And many around him knew, many participated, and many profited. And yet, he was protected. So I stand here today for every woman who has been silenced, exploited, and dismissed. We are not asking for pity. We are here demanding accountability, and I'm demanding justice. Congress must choose. Will you continue to protect predators, or will you finally protect survivors? And also, I would like to announce here today, us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now, together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know, who were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors. No one else is involved. Stay tuned for more details.
In 2002, I was living in California, a young woman with high aspirations of becoming an actress. I was already beginning to make a name for myself in the industry. A person I trusted, someone I thought was a friend, invited me to meet a powerful woman who could help advance my career. That woman happened to be Maxwell. I was asked to give her a massage, though I had almost no experience, and when I did, she praised me and promised introductions to someone enormously powerful, someone who could change the course of my life, and that man was Jeffrey Epstein. At first, I was an excited young woman on top of the world. Epstein flew me to his private island. He listened to my dreams, promised to help, but his promises came with a catch. The abuse began. He told me to keep it secret. He manipulated me with quid pro quo I did not consent to, but I felt I had no one to turn to. He was too powerful. I was just one of the many young women trapped in his orbit. I was even taken on a trip to Africa with former President Bill Clinton.
Allegedly.
In those moments, I realized how powerless I was.
Can't confirm or deny. Bill Clinton was there, by, near. This is her opinion. This is her statement. I have to protect my page, y'all. I have to protect my page. This is all alleged. The attorneys will handle all this in court. Like the video. There's about 93 in the building. Please hit subscribe and thank you. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Can confirm or deny he was there, near, or by, or if anything happened. Thanks for being here.
If I spoke out, who would believe me? Who would protect me? Epstein himself was the most powerful leader of our country. Epstein surrounded himself, with the most powerful leaders of our country and the world. He abused not only me, but countless others, and everyone seemed to look away. The truth is, Epstein had a free pass. He bragged about his powerful friends, including our current president, Donald Trump. It was his biggest brag, actually.
Can't confirm or Trump had anything to do nearby. Can't confirm or deny if he did anything. Because Maxwell said he was a gentleman, but I can't confirm or deny I wasn't there. These are these women's opinions from Fox News. Let's continue fair use.
What I endured will haunt me forever. I live every day with PTSD. I live as a mother trying to raise my child while distrusting a world that has betrayed me. This kind of trauma never leaves you. It breaks families apart. It shapes the way we see everyone around us. But one thing is certain, unless we learn from this history, monsters like Epstein will rise again. There are files, government files, that hold the truth about Epstein, who he knew, who owed him, who protected him, and why he was allowed to operate for so long without consequence. Why was Maxwell the only one held accountable when so many others played a role?
Emotional testimony and some strong allegations as well from a number of those survivors speaking on Capitol Hill earlier today, a part of a push by a bipartisan group of lawmakers to have the full unredacted Jeffrey Epstein files released. And we're going to take a break here on Florida Live, but we'll be right back.
Like the video as y'all come in. Like the video as y'all come in.
And some strong allegations.
Like the video.
Our Floridians reduce regulatory burdens and hold actors accountable for their conduct while fostering incentives for healthy living and innovation. And I think that this is something that has great potential. We've already done a lot, and I don't think there's any state that has done even close to what we've done in the state of Florida over these many years, but there's always more to do. We always want to stay ahead of the curve.
Well, the Surgeon General then made a second announcement on behalf of the state, saying the Florida Department of Health will work with DeSantis to end all vaccine mandates in the state. So Florida currently has a requirement that kids in public and private schools must be vaccinated against things like measles, polio, tetanus, and chickenpox. The Surgeon General said the effort to end all mandates is about supporting individual rights and informed consent. DeSantis says we can expect to hear more about these initiatives in the months ahead. Unusual happening out of the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department to tell you about. One of the Sheriff's Department.
Okay, everyone, we basically updated you guys in regards to what's been said. Let me see. Well, we will cover that. Hold on one second. Like the videos, y'all come in. Like the videos, y'all come in.
Are you seeing this?
Like the videos, you guys come in. Fair use reaction clip.
3,000 pages of Jeffrey Epstein documents. He now says they don't ever intend to have any criminal referrals.
There may be some notations from the Oversight Committee when this is done that, oh, this FBI person didn't check this box, or this person acted unethically, or this person got too light of a sentence. But they're not going in and trying to identify who these perpetrators were of these heinous sexual abuse crimes.
I want to bring in a member of the key committee, Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy, Democrat from Illinois. It's good to see you back on the program, Congressman. Is Tom Massey right there?
I hope he's not, because I spent, 2.5 hours with these survivors yesterday, and it was gut-wrenching, it was emotional, but the one thing they demanded was accountability and transparency with what has happened, and then justice, and bringing people to account who, were part of this just horrific sex trafficking ring. And they named a lot of names. They gave additional names of people that are at large, so to speak, who should be held accountable as well for their role.
So I'm wondering if there are specific documents or things that Congress could help to put out there that might help further their story.
And that's the biggest thing. If Maxwell gave names, why haven't those people been brought in for question or arrested? If she gave names and proof, why haven't those people that Maxwell named, because remember, allegedly, she gave 100 names, and allegedly she got transferred because she gave those names. Whatever happened to that? Let's continue. Fair use, reaction clip.
More importantly, the call for justice that has been so long delayed.
Yes, I think so. Files. So the survivor.
So are they confirming with the victims that those are the same names, and then we'll hear more? I don't know. Like the video, like the video. Hello, good afternoon, good afternoon. Don't forget to subscribe, you guys. There's about 85 in the building. Please hit the subscribe button. We're trying to hit 50K by next month.
And their attorneys actually pointed us to specific documents that are beyond reach that would be valuable, not just for them personally, because in a lot of cases, they don't even have access to the documents about their own individual abuse cases, but also to help us to understand who else should be held accountable. One of the notable sets of files or documents that they think that we should get our hands on are a set of documents from FinCEN and other financial regulators with regard to wire transactions, because as the attorney said, follow the money, because there's hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars that were transacted that help to explain, who is benefiting from this just god-awful scheme.
As I'm sure you know, there are 3 Republican women who have joined Congressman Massey's petition to force that vote, releasing all the files related to the Epstein case. There you see the Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, Nancy Mace, who is a sexual assault survivor herself. She was seen leaving yesterday's meeting with the Epstein victims in tears. The White House is now saying anyone who signs onto this will be viewed as hostile to the administration. Just a short time ago, President Trump called all of this a Democratic hoax. I'm wondering, Congressman, have you talked to other Republicans besides them who may be willing to buck the White House on this?
I have. I hope that they come forward and sign the petition. Look, Mr. Massey, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, and Nancy Mace are not notable Democrats. They are Republicans, and in some cases, they are kind of hostile to many, many Democratic priorities and interests. But in this particular case, I think they're doing the right thing by demanding full transparency. I mean, look, what we heard yesterday was just shocking in terms of the level of detail with regard to the abuses that these women were suffering from. One anecdote I just can't get out of my head. One of the victims or survivors actually said that not only was she suffering the trauma of the abuse that she suffered at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein, but apparently at the time of the trial, she had been called to testify, and one of Jeffrey Epstein's attorneys or affiliates actually called and threatened the safety of her newborn baby. And so this is just the type of stuff that shocks the conscience, and it's got to get us to do something different. And I hope that my Republican colleagues can join us in doing the right thing here and ultimately preventing this type of thing from ever happening again.
I'm being told we're out of time, but I have to take this full circle because I know you went to Harvard Law, you're a lawyer. So are there criminal charges you believe can and ultimately will be filed in this case against people who are still alive?
I don't know. That's why I need to see the files. But based on what the women and their attorneys said yesterday, there's grounds for believing that there are people that should be charged, but I need to see the evidence first.
Congressman Roger Krishnamurthy, thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Thanks for being here. At first, we were going to talk about Cardi B, but this popped up and I had to talk about it. Of course, I have to change the thumbnail. I will do that. But copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. Thanks for being here. Focus on healthy, safe relationships. Be around people that's loving, kind, and respectful. We will see what comes of the victims speaking out with their lawyers and if charges will be brought against alleged high-profiled individuals. And is there someone else out there that's trying to allegedly do the same thing? And will we find out more in regards to, okay, this is what Maxwell did, this is what Epstein did? Will we hear down the line someone else trying to do the same thing in regards to women? We'll see. But if Maxwell released 100 names, why haven't we heard people being questioned? If the victims are going to release names, let's see who's going to be questioned. If those people are the same people with Maxwell's list, if they have and were on the list of the flight logs, we'll see what happens. We'll see where this story goes. But well wishes. This is not easy. There's a lot of people that spoke out, and you have to give victims time to tell their story, whether there's flight logs and they're on those logs, or whether those women were with that agency and they were on those flight logs. That's going to be a concern. This should have been addressed when he got arrested and she got arrested. They might have kept distracting. We're going to release it. Now they're saying they released certain things, but not all things. So who's the 100 names that she gave? We'll see. It's concerning. There's a lot of high-profile people probably shaking in their boots where they may be questioned, but we can't confirm or deny if anything happened. But those flight logs gave a lot of information. I kept saying that. Also, remember how he said follow the money? I've been saying that about Wendy Williams as well. Follow the money. These celebrities have to be careful about being put and forced into conservatorship, because there's people probably in the background wanting their money to do different things. And Wendy Williams had a lot of money. I wish her family could have helped her. But it's sad in regards to that situation. But in regards to these victims, the victims are speaking up, speaking out. They have attorneys. We'll follow the story and see what happens, y'all. Some of these high-profile people are going to be shaking in their boots. Shaking in their boots. And this is the other thing, you guys. I don't know. Will some of these people start leaving the country? That's a big That's something to talk about. Let me know in the comments. Do you think we'll start hearing some people are leaving the country because of this situation and they're fearful? Will we start hearing major high-profile people leaving the country and going MIA for about 2-3 years? Possible. We'll follow the story. Well wishes. Prayers go out to the victims. They're working with the attorneys. Will the attorneys put them under witness protection? I don't know. We'll see what happens and, what's going to come about it. But I can't confirm or deny anything happened in regards to Bill Clinton. I don't know. In regards to Donald Trump, Maxwell said he was a gentleman. We'll see. I'm wondering if they're going to be buying plane tickets and getting up out of here. Hey, honey, let's take a trip to, let's take a trip. And then she get on the flight and it's like, okay, honey, I'm ready to go back. We ain't going back. Some of these husbands might be tricking the wives. Yeah, let's go on vacation, babe. Yeah, why not? The kids are in school. The nannies got them. The wife might be getting on the plane not knowing. Can't confirm or deny, Bill. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. This is the victims allegedly naming people. I can't confirm or deny. So that's why I'm going to keep protecting my page, because I don't know. I've never been there. I don't know Maxwell. I don't know Epstein. I don't know Clinton. I don't know Trump. I don't know what happened. But I'm wondering if some of these people wrote police reports and telling what happened to them. And I'm wondering if some of the medical records show health concerns, a kit. I'm wondering if some of those people, if their kits are still, I don't know. That's the biggest thing regarding our page. We want victims to be believed, and we want these attorneys to pull proof to show XYZ happened. And how did it happen for so many years? Some of these people sound that they were fearful of trying to take him down, but they were able to take him down. some of the people are allegedly no longer with us either. So concerning. Mothers, keep an eye on your daughters. Mothers and fathers, keep an eye on your daughters and sons, period. Keep an eye on your nieces, period. Keep an eye on your nephews, period. There's some weirdos out there. And some of those weirdos is in your family, looking at people and doing weird stuff. And you got to make sure you tell families, I don't play about my child. I don't play about my nieces, nephews. Put them in jail. Think about it. I had posted a viral video of a woman talking about teaching children how to protect their tops and bottoms. They blocked that. I posted a video of a woman going viral teaching children how to protect their tops and bottoms. It got blocked. Why wouldn't y'all want kids to be protected? Why wouldn't y'all want mothers to sit down with their children about protecting the tops and bottoms? It got blocked and I had to delete it. And I'm trying to think, I posted it before 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't know if it got blocked then, but some videos, if it goes too long, they'll block it. I don't know if I'll try and do a 15-second, if they'll block it, or if I did a 10-second. But yeah, it got blocked. There was a woman that went viral for teaching children how to protect themselves from weirdos, and they got blocked. Why would you not want that to go viral? And you know what I'm saying? But we do know Instagram is different than YouTube. But parents, sit down, talk with your children. Sit down, talk with your children. It could be weirdos next door. It could be weirdos in the family. Protect your kids. Because once it happened, they'll never be the same. It could be just children being children. Just be like, this is, don't let nobody. And don't be playing no house, and you gotta talk to children. Because children will think everybody's cool. You know? Yeah, so be careful, everybody. Protect your kids. Talk to your kids. Talk to your nieces and nephews. Hey, Thanksgiving's coming. Have a family meeting. Look at here. Talk to your village. Hello, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. But let's talk to our children. Talk to children about walking together, being safe. A parent should always go with a child in a bathroom. Always. And check the stall. Because you never know when people are on top of this, check the stall. Sometimes they got to do better with different stalls for fathers. Because, of course, fathers want to spend time with their daughters. But sometimes there's not the proper stalls. And sometimes, thank goodness, there's family bathrooms now, too. And like malls and stuff. So make sure you go places with your child where you know there's family bathrooms. Or if there isn't, make sure your child bathroom before y'all leave. And then maybe 2 hours later, they got to go. And it's a 2-hour event. Y'all coming home. You know what I'm saying? You got to plan ahead. Let's go to the bathroom, drink your water, go to the bathroom a few times. We're going to be gone 2 hours. This area don't have the bathrooms I need. So make sure you take them somewhere even before y'all get to the location. Parents have to plan in ahead. So yeah, we'll follow it. But yeah, this page, we talk about a lot of stuff to protect people and their families. Other people do their page. I do my page different. Protect yourself, protect your family, talk to your nieces, nephews, because there's some weirdos out there. Period. Oh, do I want to talk about this on here? I do. Hold up, y'all. Hold up. I'm going to talk about it right here. Yep. Let me go back. Hold on 1 second. Let me go back. Hold on. I know it was on here. Okay, so y'all know this is one of the women. This is Nancy leaving. The meeting from the Epstein, and she's in tears. After the meeting, she's in tears because of what she had just heard. But that ain't it. That's not all I want to talk about. Hold on. Let me find it. Be patient with me, y'all. Hold on, because I want to see. I know I saw it. See, it went off. Okay, So y'all didn't know, Kai Cenat had an event. Kai Cenat had an event, and one of the guys was asking how old North was. At Kai Cenat event, one of the guys had asked how old North was. And the guys were giggling from that. That is unacceptable. I don't know if I can find any of that. And prayers go out to The Rock. I don't know what's going on with The Rock, but go check out that video. One of the guys asked Kim how old North was. I wish I could find the clip. I don't think I kept it. And I don't know if it was Complex or page 6. No grown man should be asking how old North is. No. Let's continue. Like the video, like the video. But yeah, everybody's concerned about the Rock, what's going on with him. But yeah, I appreciate everyone for being here. Focus on healthy, safe relationships. Be around people that's loving, kind, and respectful. I appreciate everyone for being here and supporting the channel. I do. Yes. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, the conversation. I appreciate you. There's 68 in the building. If I can get all 68 people to hit the subscribe button, we're going to continue this conversation. What's going on? I wanted to talk about what I just saw, but as I went up, it scrolled away. But go check out Kai Cenat. He had a Kardashian on there yesterday, and then he had Mariah Carey. Kai Cenat had asked Mariah Carey what he wants for Christmas, and he said he wanted $1 million, and Mariah kind of laughed. But yeah, go check out that. Go check that out. So yeah, Kim is still being called out in regards to what's going on. Let's see if I can, because parents have to protect their kids. Parents protect their kids. Like the video as y'all come in. Hold on. Like the video as y'all come in. Like the video. Like the video, like the video, like the video. I'm trying to see if I can find that clip. I guess Bethany Frank spoke out in regards to parents, you know, kids are off limits, and I don't know if they got to Bethany, but Bethany's kind of like, no matter what, she had said she had spoke to her daughter, and a lot of people feel that North should just not have been in a corset. Now, remember how Kim likes her waist slimmed out. You know, is she trying to portray that to her 12-year-old daughter? Oh, this outfit allegedly would look better if you make it slimmer. So who knows? But like the videos, y'all come in. Okay, you guys, I appreciate y'all. Focus on healthy, safe relationship. Go check out that Kai Cenat when one of the guys asked how old North was. And then the guys were giggling. And she should have at that point said, look at here. That's my child. But Kim's getting called out for putting North in media like that. Many people say she's a part of Kim and Kanye. She should be dressing fashionable. Fashionable for a 12-year-old though. So here nor there. Like the video. Thanks for being here, everyone. Like the video. And then I guess there's something going on that's stating that there's some kind of ring. I don't know if she got a piercing of some sort. It could be fake. People are talking about that. I don't know if there's a possible piercing that North has gotten. People have talked about that. I can't confirm or deny if there's a finger piercing or not. But people are calling him out if North did get a finger piercing. I can't confirm or deny if she does. And I don't know who North is hanging out that has the orange hair, red hair, whatever color hair that person is. That might be a person that's securing North if Kim and Kanye are not around. The girl that's hanging out with North, they were holding hands the other day. We talked about that. I don't know if that's like a security person that's young and she can kind of relate and go to the bathroom with North. But many people have spoken out that sometimes North goes to events that Kim's not at, allegedly. sometimes North goes alleged events and Kim and Kanye are not there, but security is there. So I don't know if the girl that has the orange hair, red hair, whatever it is, I don't know if she is like security or just an older uh, person that's just by North side, just to kind of keep an eye. And there's a male security guard that's always standing behind North. So let me know how y'all feel about Kim and her role in regards to parenting. But I thank everyone for being here. I just wanted to talk about that. But yeah, go check out that video where Kim's sitting there talking with Kai Cenat and his team or friends, and the young guy asked how old, and maybe he was, oh, you care because you here. Maybe he was saying that because he's seeing that Kim was trending, and people were saying she's 12. Should you be dressing her in a corset? And we know how Kim likes to make her waist skinny. Is she trying to teach North about making herself a little skinnier in certain outfits? I don't know. But people are questioning Kanye, how he dresses his wife. People are questioning Kim and Kanye, period. People are questioning Kanye. And this is the biggest thing. Did Kim, I don't know, did she put her in the media to be talked about? Did she try to overtrend Taylor Swift news? Kim is also complaining about children doing homework. But we know kids have to do homework. We get that kids are in school for a very long time. That is a long time for them to be in school. Sometimes what they teach in school, they go home and they do the homework of what they learned in school. So is Kim having a fit about doing homework with 4 children? That's a lot of homework, and she has to do homework with 4 children, her and her nannies. So that's a conversation. But yeah, Kim is trending in regards to the homework thing. Kim is trending in regards to if North, because I can't confirm or deny if that thing on North finger is real. I can't confirm or deny it. Oh, you're lost in regards to the homework? Okay, Kim Kardashian is trending because she went on Kai Cenat saying kids should not have to do so much homework. She's trending in regards to kids doing homework. Okay, so this is what's being talked about. Let me. So that way, Kim Kardashian sparked debate, controversial parenting, parenting take. So she's basically feeling that kids should not have to do a bunch of homework. She went on Kai Cenat, and they were talking about homework. And Kim said kids are in school 8 hours. I don't feel that kids should have to come home and do homework. They have sports events. She said they should be able to spend time with their families. Yeah. And you figure, I had also had a picture. I hate that went away. The kids were with Courtney, and the kids were appropriately dressed. The kids were hanging out with Courtney. Either it was yesterday or the day before, and the kids were appropriately dressed. Courtney not playing that same situation. Courtney not playing that. You gonna see Courtney, and you know, I mean, a parent is gonna dress their child in the way, but people feel that the Kardashians should keep the kids out of media, and that's why people probably aren't fooling with the Kardashians like they used to. Keep the kids out of the media. And then this is the biggest thing. Kim don't think people are going to talk about it. No, you put her in the media, people are going to talk about it, how they feel she inappropriately dressed her daughter. It's her child, but should a child be in a corset? Should a child be in a corset? And then she was called out in regards to the Balenciaga thing. So it continues. And right now, she's stating controversial things so she can stay within the algorithm. She's stating controversial things so she can stay in the algorithm. I guess she also talked about the man in the office. She had said something about that. Then she said something about this homework thing. And didn't another Kardashian talk about homework stuff? Was that Courtney or was that Khloe? I don't know. But here nor there. That's what it is. Kim feels like kids shouldn't have to do homework. We get that they are in school for a long time. We get that kids are in sports, but she's now doing the controversial comments to take away from the conversation in regards to North. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about Kim Kanye in the comments. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about Kim Kanye. Kanye can't talk because Kanye have his wife not looking straight. I don't know what's going on about those outfits. I don't know what's going on with Kanye and his wife outfits, but she grown, but still, whatever you do in your private life's one thing, but once she come out of that house, concerned. So people are shading and people are saying, was Kanye right? And remember, Kanye, there's a documentary that's coming out. That was talked about, what, 3-4 weeks ago? So is Kim trying to distract away from the documentary? Is Kim trying to distract away from Taylor Swift engagement information? There's happy news. The Kardashian want to go viral. Kardashians want to go viral. So there's that. Is she trying to overtrend Taylor Swift? Possible. 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 Thanks for being here, everyone. Focus on healthy, safe relationships. Be around people that's loving, kind, and respectful. Just our opinion. We don't know. The Kardashians love the trend. Kim loves media attention, clicks, and views. Sometimes when she goes to hotels, it's almost like, what, she the only one that stayed there? There's no other famous person that stayed there? Kardashians love media attention, clicks, and views. Well wishes to their children. Because, I mean, I don't know. Like the video. Thanks for being here. There's about 57 in the building. Please hit subscribe. Thanks for being here, everyone. Have a great day. Goodbye. Be blessed.